get a beater car and stop at a flashy jewelry and just drive around a piece of crap, then who's going to follow you home? Unless you come out of, $12 million mansion. Yeah, but they all have very sophisticated alarm systems. Super duper ones recording and all that, and flashing lights, and well, there are some not rich people living in Beverly Hills, renters. Yeah, that's true. Let's go ahead and take a break. Okay, last break of this hour, and checking in with Chris Little. Almost 1,800 people are in LA County hospitals with COVID-19. The number of COVID patients has gone up more than 300 over the past 2 days. Officials are worried that the spike in cases could overwhelm local medical facilities. People working at LA County public and private schools are going to have to wear medical-grade masks starting today. An official with the International Coalition in Iraq says 2 armed drones have been shot down at the Baghdad airport. We'll see what's up on the 105 next. So many of our listeners have entrusted Sweet James accident attorneys in their time of need after being injured in an accident, and you know why. In the months and days following an accident, people don't know what to do or who to turn to. Your life has changed, you're in pain, you might not be able to drive or work. The worst part is the insurance company that promises to protect you will try to pay you the least amount possible for your injury. The team at Sweet James will not let this happen. They'll help you get the medical care you need and help you get your life back on track. While their award-winning attorneys work on your behalf to get you the most amount of money possible, you pay nothing until they win your case. If you or someone you love is hurt in an accident, call Sweet James at 800-500-5200, 800-500-5200, or sweetjames.com. Attention I-10 freeway drivers. Freeway and ramp closures are coming up for the I-10 Express Lanes project. Don't get stuck. For dates and detours, visit GoSBCTA.com. That's GoSBCTA.com for more information on the I-10 Express Lanes project. Southern California weather, sunny, highs in the mid-50s to around 60. This report brought to you by the San Bernardino County Transportation Authority. Let's check in with the KFI in the sky and see what's up on that 105.
You betcha, not too much, and that's a good thing. If you're around the 605, you take that West 105 all the way into LAX. It's a pretty good drive. A little slow in spots, but that's about it. Now, if you've been listening to Bill and Chris and Wayne, everybody talking about airport travel, we just had a good look at LAX. Now, the departure levels are not gridlocked, and they truly were gridlocked through the holidays. Not quite that bad. It's busy. It's a confounding spot, that's for sure. And there's a little bit of a problem coming off Century Boulevard to the upper level, so a little slow going through there. Now, a big problem leaving the San Fernando Valley. South 405 right around the 101. There was a crash there. It's open to the shoulder. However, it's stop and stop and stop for the Sherman Way. Once you get going uphill, you'll be okay. In Mid-City, LA, in trouble. We're just making a turn over the North 710 right now. Going to go back and check westbound around Crenshaw and Washington. Earlier problems. We'll see if this is working or not. Injured in an accident, visit Superwoman, superlawyer.com. Jeff Ball, KFI in the sky.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International. Compassion International has a network of over 300 church partners in Haiti, poised to bring critical relief to those suffering because of the recent earthquake. Make your $40 one-time gift now by texting the keyword radio to 97646. The holy grail of home ownership is to pay off that mortgage as soon as possible. Well, I want to explain a totally different way of thinking about your home, your money. Paying off your home makes no sense. In the past few years, your home's value has increased like crazy. Home prices have gone up exponentially, and that means your home's equity has grown exponentially too. And all that value in your house is just sitting there doing absolutely nothing. Money is so cheap right now, you probably think that the money in your home is safe, and investing that money is dangerous. Not necessarily true. If your home loan rate is 3% or under, you only have to make more than 3%. The problem is that paying off your home is so deeply rooted. You probably learned it from your parents. Their goal is to pay off the house, live modestly into old age, minimal expenses. Today, it is totally different. We don't have guaranteed pensions to count on anymore. Social Security benefits don't let you keep your lifestyle. So your retirement is probably powered by your investments. I was talking to Mark Tice at HMS Capital about this, and I asked him, how about a 30-year loan versus a 15-year loan? He said he'd recommend a 100-year loan because he believes the goal is not to pay off your house, but put your home's money to work for you. If this way of thinking about your home, your money, your future makes sense,
Call HMS Capital at 833-255-5698, 833-255-5698. HMS Capital encourages you to apply with them and another lender at the same time. They're that confident they can get you the best deal. HMS Capital is the only lender I know that does that. I've done 2 mortgages with HMS Capital. I've known Mark for over 16 years. So call HMS Capital at 833-255-5698 or visit hmscapital.com. That's hmscapital.com.
HMS Capital Funding is a DBA quality and filing, payment ID number 2427. HMS Capital is licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. License number 4130360. Equal housing lender.
When Bill and I needed new windows over 20 years ago, we picked a company we thought would do a good job. We were so disappointed.
So we saw a genuine need for a company with strong character, one that people could have faith in.
American Vision Windows was born right then and there.
The best thing about working for American Vision Windows and with customers specifically is having their dreams come true. And we try to accomplish the best job we can to make them happy.
It was a great experience. I couldn't have asked for anything better.
I've been in the construction trade for 35 years. The level of quality of products that they use for their prep work was top-notch.
American Vision Windows continues to revolutionize the home improvement industry, one customer at a time, while changing the lives of our employees for the better. It's so simple.
Happy employees, happy customers.
0% interest, 0 payments until 2023. Call 888-226-9908. That's 888-226-9908 or visit AmericanVisionWindows.com.
Unapproved credit, not all applicants will qualify. Cannot be combined with any other offers. New customers only. Restrictions apply. Call or see website for details. Offer expires 01/31/22. CSLB number 778326.
iHeartRadio Earth is here with little tips for a healthier planet. It sure feels good to step into a warm car after letting it heat up for a few minutes. However, this practice wastes gas, increases emissions, and pollutes the air. Limit idling your car to no more than 3 minutes to save money at the gas station and improve air quality. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth. At Ralph's, fresh groceries are our thing, so we check your delivery order for freshness at every step from farm to store and pick and pack every veggie in your free pickup order with care, because we treat your food the way we'd want ours to be treated. We're fresh every day, so shop anyway. Ralph's, fresh for everyone. Free pickup on orders of $35 or more. Restrictions may apply.
Get more ways to save at the Buy 5 or More, Save $1 each sale. Just buy 5 or more participating items and save $1 each with card. Ralph's, fresh for everyone.
Here's my hope for 2022, Mike Bond. The closest we can see right now to us actually having a recall vote. If he's recalled, if somebody like Rick Caruso becomes mayor, if the recall of LA County District Attorney George Gascon is affected, I think there's hope in 2022. John and Ken, weekdays at 2. That is an inspirational message on KFI. Bill Handel here as we start 2022, and a lot going on. Back we go to Lieutenant Handel on the news on this Monday morning. Chris Riddle in for Jennifer today, Wayne Resnick, and me. The 3 strikes law is getting another look-see from a California criminal justice panel. There's lawmakers, criminal law scholars, federal and state judges appointed by the governor, and legislative leaders. I'm going to see if maybe we should change this thing. We talked a lot about this, and I think Wayne and I both in agreement that it's mandatory 3 strikes. You go to jail for 25 years, but there were instances where that third crime was. I remember one where somebody grabbed a slice of pizza at a Chuck E. Cheese. And that was considered theft, and for some reason assault, and I have no. It was considered robbery. Yeah, oh yeah, and the guy was the third offense. So I think it's going to be case by case, isn't it? Or they're going to try to give more prosecutorial discretion and also more judicial discretion, and they're changing all kinds of things about the criminal justice system, not just 3 strikes. This is the Committee on Revision of the Penal Code. So they're getting rid of gang enhancements, for example, other kinds of sentencing enhancements. Now you will notice, you will not see any idea that they are considering that involves upping any punishment for anything. It's all
to reduce sentences and reduce the number of people in prison. Well, a Washington Post University of Maryland survey found that overall about 34% of Americans say violence against the government is sometimes justified. Breaks down along party lines, obviously. Fewer Democrats said that compared to Republicans, but the most violent-y group are the independents. 41% of independents said, depending on the situation, violence against the government might be necessary.
Yeah, but that is so specious because what does the government have to do, right? Invasion of privacy, tap your phone, therefore you can commit violence against the government. Or let's say the National Guard waking up one morning and you're surrounded by National Guard and they're about to attack your home. Okay, violence is legitimate at that point. But is it legitimate with a phone tap? Is it legitimate with a stop? Is it legitimate with certain kinds of searches? So this argument is kind of weird. And you're right, it is along party lines.
Another interesting thing they showed was that 92% of Democrats thought Trump was, to blame for the riot on January 6th, but only 27% of Republicans.
Yeah, and by the way, the 27%, if you look at the other side of the 27%, which is, 72% of them say Trump was not to blame. It's about
73.
Yeah, that's about the same percentage that say Trump was legitimately elected and the election was fraudulent. That's the one that floors me. Trump is and should be the president. 3/4 of Republicans in this country. I mean, man, we live in the twilight zone. We really do.
Oh, I watched The Twilight Zone over the weekend. There was a marathon. It's pretty good. This is kind of like The Twilight Zone. Fans were confused during a football game between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Jets because Antonio Brown, the wide receiver, ripped off his pads, ripped off his shirt and his undershirt and his gloves, and he waved to the crowd and ran off the field. And now he is no longer a Buck.
Yeah, they fired him immediately. Now, what started that incident? Because you don't see that. Was he in an altercation with another player?
Well, he was on the sidelines. He was, up in arms on the sidelines, and they were trying to calm him down. And then from there, he went on. So who knows?
Yeah, he's got some real issues.
It's because, I'm sure it's other things too, but it's because at that moment, the Bucks were trailing by 14 points, and the Jets stink. So I think he was very frustrated that they were losing that badly to such a horrible team.
Well, yeah, but guess who won?
Yes, the Bucks did come back and win it, but he couldn't have foreseen the future, I guess. Or
Well,
maybe
he could.
stuck
Yeah,
around.
that's true.
And the general manager said all he would say is he is no longer a Buck. Done. So I'm assuming he was fired by the time he actually got into
The limo?
limo. He got into.
Well, he did. He went out and got in a limo and
was
driven away.
That's fantastic. And he's done that before. Was he picked up by another team, by the way, or is he just out?
I don't know if another team now would want to touch him, but let's wait and see. I mean, we're waiting to see if anybody else wants to take a nibble on that guy.
All right, let's do one last one.
All right, well, how about this? In the world of hockey, a fan of the Seattle Kraken is being praised as a hero because she was sitting behind, the bench of the Canucks. And she noticed that the assistant equipment manager, a guy named Brian Hamilton, had an irregularly shaped mole on the back of his neck. She is going to be a medical student, by the way, and she noticed some features of this mole that led her to be concerned that it was cancerous. And she actually wrote a note and held it up to the glass, and he had the team doctors check it out, and it was a malignant melanoma, and he now credits her with saving his life.
Which is pretty impressive when you think about it.
Yeah.
To say the least.
Did she get season tickets for free?
Well, they gave her $10,000.
Well, the two teams got together to give her $10,000,
and I think she's been hired by the National Hockey League as the cancer whisperer, and they made a brand new position for that.
That part's not true, though.
Oh. Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, we're done, guys, with the news until 8:30. And so, as we always do when we come back at the start of a new year, new laws that kick in, and we're obviously not going to go through all of them because there's hundreds, if not thousands. So I'm going to grab some of them that have been around, and we'll do a couple of segments, new driving laws coming up, and just general new laws coming up in the next segment. This is KFI AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
We're not just in smart speakers, we're in a couple of smart ears as well.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Another possible COVID course correction in the mask department. I'm Chris Little, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. Dr. Anthony Fauci is recommending people get a COVID-19 test after the newly imposed 5-day COVID isolation period.
People are getting concerned about why not test people at that time. I myself feel that that's a reasonable thing to do.
The CDC's new coronavirus protocols do not currently recommend a test at
powerful.
the end of the reduced 5-day isolation period, which went into effect last week. However, Dr. Fauci says he thinks the agency is going to change that recommendation.
Squash it.
News brought to you by Water Heaters Only. The Burbank School District Board of Education has decided to continue in-person classes this week despite the surge in COVID-19 cases. The board also decided not to require mandatory COVID testing.
6 passengers, fake comfort, basic, Johnson test. You know, Johnson driving.
Schools, OT Deputy Health Officer Dr.
What
Regina
are
Castillo
those?
said all schools are in contact with state officials.
Some schools locally have already partnered with test labs as well as the state and may actually already have testing available.
So far, there's no indication schools will have to close during the winter surge. UC Irvine pediatrics professor Dr. Dan Cooper says closing schools last time didn't stop kids from potentially spreading COVID because working parents still sent their kids to daycare. In Orange County, Corbin Carson, KFI News.
SoCal Beaches, a lot of them are closed to the public because of a sewage spill, a big one. Officials say about 8.5 million gallons of raw sewage poured into the ocean waters after a main sewage line in Carson broke last week and dumped tremendous channels flows out into the ocean. Beaches will stay off limits until testing of water samples shows bacteria levels are safe. A winter storm is blowing into the nation's capital, closing government offices and schools. Fierce winds with as much as 10 inches of snow is forecast for the District of Columbia, Northern Virginia, and Central Maryland. The National Weather Service has issued a winter storm warning for the area until 4 o'clock local time today. Travel is expected to be pretty dangerous, and more than 400,000 customers have no power. More than half of the flights were delayed or canceled Monday morning at Washington's 3 major airports. The snow began falling last night in parts of Alabama, Kentucky, and Tennessee. Let's check the drive on the 10. Don't have any snow up there. Right, Jeff?
Oh, keep on saying, watch the snow. Where is the snow? It's up in the mountains, and it certainly is gorgeous. We've been looking at this state break there, but, well, we get snow on the Santa Monica freeway. We got a street. Sure. Here's the good news. Get together driving now. It's the westbound from Santa Monica freeway downtown Los Angeles out to the west. Comes to Crenshaw and Martin Circuit for all time. So it's a little slow. You got a little extra time in your schedule. You're going to be okay. All the rest of the 405 and Culver City, no matter where you're going, you can look at it. And with the 710 coming up here, that one's showing pretty good shape. You can fly over down to Harbor. Both sides are doing good. Orange County and Lynn Freeway still in okay shape. But it's still good. But headed back to the center of the highway right now. If you just start out your drive, everything else is a super line, superlawyer.com. Jeff Ball, the Rams were down by 5 with Baltimore Ravens with a minute left in the game. Final score in the Rams' 5th straight victory, 20-2.
Colts fans were not biting their nails as the Chargers easily defeated the Denver Broncos at SoFi Stadium by a score of 34-13. And in a development that's not entirely surprising, troubled Tampa Bay wide receiver Antonio Brown is a Buccaneer no more after slipping off his pads and jersey and storming out of MetLife Stadium in the middle of yesterday's game against the Jets. I'm Will Wesner, KFI Sports.
As the effort to vaccinate more Americans against COVID-19 continues, some wonder if natural immunity offers the same protection against the virus as vaccines. We spoke with Dr. Stephen Gordon, chair of the Department of Infectious Disease at the Cleveland Clinic, to find out more about natural immunity and the coronavirus.
So getting COVID-19 does provide immunity, the duration of which we don't know. However, it also carries with it some risk. I would much rather get a vaccine to prevent getting infection than run the risk of not just acute complications of the infection. We do know lingering symptoms can occur in many patients even after the acute symptoms have resolved. And so that's another reason why I'd much rather protect myself with vaccine than natural infection.
That was Dr. Stephen Gordon, chair of the Department of Infectious Disease at the Cleveland Clinic. iHeartRadio will continue to keep you informed with the latest coronavirus news. For continuous
do it.
No, don't. Vaccine near you, check out vaccines.gov.
NeoU is my new favorite fitness app, and at $3.99 a month, I can't believe everything I get. Real-time coaching, daily live workouts where I can see my friends, plus thousands of on-demand classes like strength, boot camp, yoga, and more. I'm obsessed with NeoU's interactive workouts where my instructors can see and talk to me. And when you sign up for a 60-day free trial by January 31st, we check our produce at every stop. Sign up now at neoufitness.com. That's neoufitness.com.
Southern California weather from KFI. Right after we take a look at the financial report, looks like the Dow is up 11 points, S&P 500 up 6, NASDAQ is up 76. The price of a regular gallon of gas in California is $4.66. Sunny today, highs in the mid-50s to around 60, some low clouds and fog overnight, lows in the mid-30s to mid-40s, patchy frost in some of the colder parts of the IE. Partly cloudy tomorrow, with highs again in the mid-50s to around 60. Right now, Fountain Valley 39, Lake Forest 40 to 43 in Hacienda Heights, 42 in Diamond Bar. We read locals live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Chris Little. Good morning, Bill Handel here. On a Monday morning, January 3rd, as we start 2022. And hope you had a good New Year's.
Undo it.
A lot of stuff going on. Flight cancellations are going crazy. The backlog products still happening big time. Supply chain issues and a whole lot of COVID news, as you would imagine. Schools all over the country are closing or modifying how they're doing learning, teaching, online, not here in Burbank. That's why we're paying attention. Schools just hold up. It's classroom teaching, unlike many other school districts around the country. Now, new law that has kicked in. We do this every year at the beginning of the year. And as you can imagine, a whole bunch of laws regarding COVID. In the next segment, we're going to talk about new driving laws, which are they're pretty impressive, or at least extensive. All right. So a couple of things about the COVID governing of California issue, that it continues to slow the pace of governing itself. Fewer bills, second fewest number of bills approved since 1967. It was only 2020 that fewer bills were considered and signed into law. So the governor considered 836 bills. Usually it's in the thousands, and he vetoed 66 of them. So as I said, COVID is a huge issue. So health insurance companies have to offer free COVID testing, no surprise fees, access to tests, and vaccinations, even when someone is out of their system. For example, I'm a Kaiser member, and you could walk into Kaiser. No, don't, because it's crowded enough anyway. So you can walk into any facility other than Kaiser. Unfortunately, I'm just sitting on that one, and get all of those services. That's by law. Also, the protest. This is for the anti-vaxxers. Anyone who protests at one of these clinics has to keep at least 100 feet away from the entrance.
and that's $1,000 fine for misdemeanor, $1,000 fine up to 6 months in jail, and then services provided by Medi-Cal is going to be extended to everybody, including those who are undocumented, illegal, which heretofore were not able to get these services. Electronic cigarettes, e-cigarettes, new tax. It's going to be another 12.5% of the sales price, so that's going crazy. And then a big issue, and that involves condominiums. Well, actually condoms. I always get the two confused. If you take a condom off without your partner's consent, that now is under state criminal law. And it used to be where it was just a civil issue if the disease was
His name is Wobbly.
And judges can now order probation instead of time behind bars for more crimes related to drugs. And this is something we've been pushing, I've been pushing for years. And Wayne and I have talked about this many times. And that is the drug laws are so antiquated, and such a huge number of prisoners have been convicted because of violation of drug laws. If, for the most part, drug laws were just eliminated or really reduced, you would see we wouldn't have crowding in the prison. And we're talking about certainly possession for personal use. It's kind of hard to argue if you have 3 kilos in your kitchen, that's for personal use. And sales still are fairly regulated, and it's a serious crime. But I've often said you should be able to go to Walmart right there in the drug aisle, and not the pharmacy, the drug aisle, and go down and pick up your heroin.
700 years to defeat.
And spousal rape doesn't exist anymore. It was a lesser crime than rape. Now the law says nope. It's actually the same. And then the issue of police enforcement. We're talking about excessive force. California law enforcement officers can lose their badges for misconduct, including force, sexual, racial bias, dishonesty, and I love